The Maginot Line is usually remembered as a punchline. The French built a wall. The Germans went around it. Ha ha. That joke misses something important. The Maginot Line was not a wall. It was a subterranean city, arguably the most sophisticated defensive system ever built. The overlooked fact. The Germans did not actually go around the line in the way you think. They went through a gap the French knew existed. But the deeper inadequacy wasn't the gap. It was what the line did to the minds of the men who manned it. When the panzers finally crossed into France through the Ardennes, the largest, most expensive fortification in history never fired a shot in its own defense. The decision to build the Maginot Line came from a place of painful logic. France's population was half of Germany's. André Maginot, himself a World War I artilleryman, sold the line as a force multiplier. It would allow a smaller army to hold a larger one at bay. A soldier could, live underground for as long as 2 months without ever seeing daylight. The French actually tested this, and well, it worked. The first overlooked decision was that France spent 3 billion francs on the line, but almost nothing on mobile reserves to respond to a flanking maneuver. General Maurice Gamelin's plan, which was called the Dial Plan, assumed the German main attack would come through Belgium's central plain, exactly where the French had prepared to meet it. The Germans studied those same French manuals. They concluded that, impenetrable actually meant lightly defended. One Category B division had been issued ammunition that did not fit its rifles. The error was discovered at 2 a.m. on May 14th. We heard tanks. We looked at our rifles. No one said anything. French artillery crews in the Maginot proper could hear the battle. They had the range to hit German columns crossing the Meuse, but they were under strict orders not to fire. By May 15th, German tanks had broken through to open country. The French High Command lost communication with several armies. The second overlooked decision. The Maginot Line's garrisons were never given permission to abandon their forts and counterattack. There were 400,000 French soldiers inside the line. They sat in their concrete bunkers, just listening to the war happen somewhere else. On June 22, 1940, France surrendered. The Maginot Line had not been breached. It had been bypassed, surrounded, and, rendered irrelevant. The Maginot Line is not a story about French cowardice. It's actually a story about the danger of building a solution to the last war. NATO planners in the 1950s studied the Maginot Line obsessively. They concluded that a static defense works only if you can afford to defend everywhere. The line still stands. You can visit it today. Some sections have been turned into museums. Others are simply there, quiet, waiting for an invasion that stopped mattering 80 years ago. Subscribe to War Machiner and share this if you value history that goes deeper.